I was having a conversation today about the shame and humiliation we can feel as lawyers if we want to speak about what we truly think, what we truly feel, what we truly would like to do within law, if we would want to do something radical, and how that can prevent us from doing it, from confidently speaking out. And I feel this is because the legal system, the system itself, this professionalized network has so much power, and we're plugged into that, and we feel powerless. We depend on the system for our financial well-being, for our reputations, for our sense of belonging to a community. We've worked so hard to gain qualifications. We've spent a lot of money, and we're plugged into this very powerful, huge network and system, and we feel powerless. I think it's important to remember that we were lawyers before we entered that system, because most of us that did end up training in law, moving into law, have a resonance with justice. We have a resonance with fairness, with balance. We had this desire, this deep feeling that we wanted to advocate for somebody or a community or the earth or a place. We wanted to stand up for the vulnerable, the less well off. We went into law with those desires, and that made us lawyers, that made us makers and practitioners of justice and law. And if we step out of the system, we are still lawyers. We're still justice makers, justice practitioners of justice. And this is really important, I think, to remember and to feel this deep in our bodies, because it's easy to say this, but it's that feeling within our bodies, this remembrance, because actually what law and justice is something deeper than what is reflected and maintained in our modern legal systems. The deeper original source that we've become so disconnected from is prior to that and has existed since time immemorial. And actually, the original field of justice that is around us all the time is the earth herself. She is a field of justice. She is constantly balancing, constantly birthing and dying, constantly creating and destroying, constantly keeping things in perfect harmony. And our bodies are of the earth, therefore we also have this resonance with deep, true, organic justice, balance, fairness. And some of us really deeply resonate with these qualities, these sacred qualities. And we must have this connection to the original source. Otherwise, law becomes an intellectual exercise. It becomes overly complex, disconnected, disassociated, meaningless, a battle of wit, all the things. And this is where we're at. We have lost that deeper connection, and this is what we need to restore. And this is not necessarily easy to do, because although it might sound like a good idea and it might sound like the right idea, in practice, it does require us to really visit and acknowledge and feel this powerlessness, this personal sense of powerlessness, and how we are plugged in, and also our collective powerlessness and how we are collectively plugged into these systems and rely on them for our stability and security and well-being, and becoming sovereign and really feeling our deeper power and our roots is not necessarily an easy or quick fix path. We won't necessarily be able to meditate and it'll just happen. This is one of the reasons I'm speaking about it myself, because it's a deep exploration of my own, and I think it can be very subtle sometimes. We can feel like we are reclaiming our power, and then we can see how actually the roots are very deep in the ways that we are still plugged in. And this is also because, although it might be easy to say that Earth is the ultimate field of justice and mother of justice, and that she is the natural balancer and the natural creator of harmony, and that we feel this and resonate with this through our bodies, in fact, we have lost that connection, and that's part of the restoration that we need to, or that we desire to recreate, because that is what was taken from us as well. That's part of the story of the powerlessness, this deep connection that we had, this deep holding from the ultimate system, the ultimate field of law and justice was broken. And so we had to become dependent on a false system in a way. So I think it feels today, and this is something that I really felt this weekend, is that the earth herself wants us to do this now. She is, if we really listen, she is speaking to us, and in fact is holding us, and we can trust and rely on her, and she's guiding us, and we can forge the way forward and reclaim our power and reclaim the original source of our justice, and feel this deep in our bodies. And only then can any greater complexity be layered on top. This connection must be restored first. And just to say that a lawyer once said to me that a senior judge he worked with said to him when a case had finished and the clerk went to him, he said, "This is my decision, now find me the law to support it." And this reflects very well, I think, where we need to go. Our bodies know justice, and we already instinctively know what's right. We know the answer, particularly when we have restored that deep connection to our knowing and to the earth.